Hey guys, my name is Bryce Paden, and this is my module number 4, Understanding My Community. In this case, it would be for Riverside USD 114. Some customs and traditions that we have in our school system and in our community. Number one would be, just our back to school night, getting the kids and the parents and the staff just excited about getting back to school. Another would be homecoming. We have some holiday celebrations in the school and outside in the community. One of the biggest community things that we do, especially this happens in Wathena, is our fall festival. It's a weekend long during Labor Day, and we shut down Main Street, and there's lots of activities for for all types of ages to have a good time with. We have a community theater performance for our high school. We have an athletic banquet and obviously prom. So just a little bit about our district, and I'll get into it a little bit later on. But we are a consolidated district from Wathena and Elwood, which makes up Riverside. So here are some population characteristics of just that. The education portion I thought was interesting. Looking at the two towns, they're pretty. Elwood had a higher high school diploma and then stopped, whereas Wathena had a little bit more college training and in finishing the college, getting degrees. We had the same, Wathena and Elwood both had the same top 3 occupations, which would be, manufacturing, healthcare, and education. The median age were pretty similar, 43 for Wathena and 46 for Elwood. Both, let's see, yeah, they were gender. They were both very, very similar. Obviously, you're going to be really close to the halfway point there, but I think it was 52 and 48 and 52 and 48. There is a higher percentage of African Americans in Elwood than there are in Wathena, but that's just a little bit of difference there. So communication channels. So our school and community deals with a lot of these. Facebook, everybody uses, I don't say everybody, most people use Facebook. Our school district has a Facebook page that they use quite often. I know that the Wathena community page, there is a Wathena community page that keeps us up to date on things going on in our community, as well as Elwood. And Elwood has their own page as well, and that they keep up to date. We have a school website that essentially they run everything that goes to the Facebook page through the school district straight through the website, and it has calendars and such that keep everybody up informed. Twitter, it's used, but not near as to the capacity of Facebook or our school website. We do have a local newspaper company right here in town in Wathena, the Kansas Chief. We submit things from the school to them, and they run it once a week. And it's a good way to keep the community informed and on what's going on with the schools. Different community groups that came to mind would be the PTO, Booster Club is a big um, proponent of what we do at Riverside. There's a lot of people that donate a lot of time and effort into that. Um, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts is one that is a community group outside of our school that I know a lot of our kids are involved with. Site Council, that's a great way for our community, so some community members to meet with some of us in the school and tackle some different projects or discussions on our school district. The Masonic Lodge, um, they do the Mason. They come in and they do a great job. I know they help with scholarships and such, and they have just another community group that tries to be involved as much as possible in our school district. And then FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I know that is it's a group that's ran through our school to allow things to do things in our school um, on that level. And moving on, okay. So leadership. Obviously, I'll touch on this in just a little bit about um, our town's leadership. But when I saw leadership, the first thing that came to mind is our leadership of our school, and that is our superintendent and our other administrators. I think they do a great job of trying to seek out community members and community groups when they need advice, when they have issues that they need either advice on or help problem solving, or that somebody in our community can help out. And the last thing would just be our school board. I think they do a great job as well of leading our school district in the right direction. Okay, so economic conditions. I would say that our economic conditions in our district and our communities are growing. Um, you know, there have been some different companies and such that have been relocating due to the flood or potential of the flood. So we live Wathena and Elwood. Elwood is the closest to the Missouri River. We border, bump up right up on the border of St. Joe, Missouri. And there's been some close calls with some floods here lately. A couple of years ago, and there's some people that had to evacuate out, companies and businesses that evacuated out, that took their business elsewhere. That they didn't want to come back into our community because it's just not worth the risk of losing what they have. And it's really hard to blame them, but it just kind of is what it is. We lost we lost Affiliated Foods here in town, which had so many jobs, and that was a big time you know hit for our local grocers, as we have in town, and it just really kind of set them back as well. And just little things like we had Pizza Hut in town, and it's gone now. You know, we had somebody that was getting ready to do a local gym, and this COVID-19 set everything back. Not being able to order products, not being able to get in weights and other machinery in, and it just kind of fell through. And there was multiple other small businesses that were trying to do the same thing that just can't even get product to even keep themselves afloat and sustain it in our community, which is a real shame. We do have some up and coming local diners and restaurants in town, and that's so great to see. And as well as we have a rehabilitation facility coming into Elwood that's supposed to be giving upwards of 50 to 100 jobs, which is awesome. And I cannot wait to see what that does for our communities moving forward. Political structure. it starts from our local state. Our locals would be our mayors, and I live in Wathena, and that our mayor's particularly involved, very involved, and he does a lot with our fall festival that many people enjoy. And then goes to our city council, as well as our levee committee. I just mentioned the potential of a flood. We have people um, that are on a committee to make sure that we are protected, and our school districts are protected. Some social tensions. I'd say one of the biggest social tensions that we've had is the fact that we are a consolidated school district, and we came from Elwood and Wathena, and we created Riverside. And it's just a bunch of little things. We are two different schools. We are in two different locations. Um, we have the pre through two in the high school in Wathena, and then we have 3 through 8 in Elwood. And it throws up some complaints about busing or athletics or whatever it is, and I'd say we shouldn't have done this and we shouldn't have done that, and you get some community members that get disgruntled with random things, and then they started throwing it out there. But that would be our biggest. Some previous things that we've done. Okay, so bond elections, we have failed on a couple bond elections, and I think a lot of it is due to our county tax towards our community college. But it just kind of is what it is. We did pass a mill levy here a few years ago, and I think a lot of that was just because they were so big. Our leadership was so big on getting the community educated on what exactly is going to be going on with that money, and I think people just finally kind of gave in and said, "Yeah, that makes sense." We had a renovation of our theater and auditorium due to a local donation. And then we got some new playground equipment on both of our campuses, actually, the last 2 years, in the Give Where You Live project with our local commerce. Power structure, it kind of goes from the top down as well. Our superintendent, administration, athletic director, and school board members. And I almost put parents on there because I feel like right now we have so many parents that want to just be a part of any sort of power and what they can do and whatnot, and they complain to the board members, and or they get their own little group, and then they try to push forward and get into the power structure, and that's just not the way our school is ran or our community, and I'm so glad for that. Multicultural issues, we don't, like I mentioned earlier, we don't have too many minorities or any foreign multicultural families, but we do our best, and I think that we are doing everything that we can for those families, and providing support for them if they needed. Public opinion, I feel like you just need to educate everybody. The public needs to be educated on what we're doing, how we're doing it, and I think they'll be a lot more encouraged with what we're doing in the classrooms. Encourage community involvement. Getting the more people involved, it will be the more beneficial for our school districts. And be transparent, honest, open. Is always the right way to do things, and seek assistance and advice when needed. And we have so many smart people in our communities, and so many people that are more skilled in different situations that can really help us out, and we need to seek that out whenever we can. And here are our references. Thank you very much.